Welcome, tennis fans, to a special U.S. Open edition of Changeover Chat in the TennisONE app. I'm Randy Master. Today, we welcome to the show Volvo Car Open Tournament Director and Volvo Car Stadium GM. He's also the WTA Tournament Council member, has been one for a long time, and he's one of the most well-respected people in tennis and well-liked, Bob Moran.
Hi,
Welcome,
Randy.
Bob.
Thanks for the great intro there.
No problem, no problem. It's all true, of course. So I wanted to quickly get into some tennis. Last night, your good friend and Charleston native Shelby Rogers had a tough quarterfinal against Naomi Osaka. I watched that match from beginning to end. It was a slugfest. Tons and tons of winners on both sides. I thought Shelby played a good match. I thought Naomi was just lights out last night. How proud are you of Shelby, your good friend?
Extremely proud of Shelby, and it was a slugfest last night. There were a lot of good points, a lot of winners, and to your point, I'd say Naomi was definitely plugged in and ready to go for that match. It's great for Shelby. I think that moves her right to about number 55 in the world, which is I think 27 spots up from where she was entering the New York bubble. So it's really wonderful for her. She was playing well coming back from injury, getting back into it, but this was a great jump for her. Really proud of her.
Sure. Well, let's reverse gears. Something that's not as positive. The beginning of the pandemic, you saw Indian Wells cancel. That was kind of the first ball to drop. You saw Miami, and then obviously TennisONE being a partner of the Volvo Car Open. We were very invested with the Volvo Car Open moving forward. I remember when the announcement was made, I was crushed. It's one of my favorite events of the year. You guys work all year on this tournament, late hours getting ready. Bob, what was that like for you? I know it was a big disappointment.
Yeah, there were a lot of moving parts throughout that whole experience. Obviously Indian Wells hit fast. They were, day of opening, and then Miami, Houston, and Charleston, we were all talking and chatting about what was coming. Steve Simon and I talked every day. He's the CEO of the WTA Tour. And we were trying to figure everything possible we could out. At the same time, we're under construction. And, the word from Indian Wells comes down and bleachers are going up right behind my office. And we have buildings already set. And I'd say we're probably 40% of the way built out. So for us, ticket sales were fantastic. Our sponsors were happy. Best field we've had in probably 15 years. It was an awesome group of girls coming, and we were really excited. The town was excited. So to have it just pulled at the last minute like that was really hard for the whole team, the city, our volunteers, our staff, everybody. Really hard.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, it was a great field. A lot of people in tennis kind of rose to the occasion this summer, created jobs for players, exos all over the world. They kept popping up and popping up. I thought the one that you held down in Charleston was one of the best for sure. You had 16 players. The draw included Jen Brady, who's absolutely on fire. Shelby was there. So you were able to compensate the players, obviously, for their time. You also helped the University of South Carolina, the medical school, with their frontline workers. How important was it for you to do that, Bob, especially considering you didn't have an event this year?
As soon as the term was canceled, we were all asking the question, what's next? And we're monitoring what was going on with the pandemic, and everyone was trying to figure out, was it safe to play or was it not safe to play? Was there a way to do things the right way and achieve success, which was kind of multiple levels. One was getting players just back playing.
Yeah.
Number two was getting some live tennis back on TV for viewers to watch. And at the same time, we wanted to say thank you to our healthcare providers, which we were able to do as well. So it was really important for us to figure it out. We were looking at the WTA side, pre-US Open, if there was an opportunity. But as we were getting closer and closer to the US Open, it was just, there was too many unknowns what was going to happen there. So we decided to do a small group and a good group. This was a great group of young women who we enjoyed having. And Jen Brady, if she's ever watching this, she'll laugh because she called me dad quite a few times because I kept telling her to put her mask on. But she was a pleasure, and Vika was there too. So we had Shelby and Vika and Jen Brady. They were all getting themselves. And Jen Brady at that event really shined to us. She didn't lose a match. She played great tennis. She looked really strong and she was focused. So it does not surprise me that she's in the position she's in right now.
Yeah, well, as long as we're talking about Jen Brady, and as you said, she's been an absolute role. She wins Kentucky. She is certainly surprised everyone, being the top American right now. Arguably, Serena is as well, and Sonia Kennan, but Jen Brady has come on like a storm. Did you see that coming?
Didn't see it coming until the Credit One Bank Invitational in Charleston, where she played great tennis, and a lot of the girls were all joking about how she was the MVP for the week because she played great tennis, had a lot of energy, she was a lot of fun. She acted as a DJ one night with music. She just had a great attitude, and
Right.
she was playing unbelievable tennis. So no, it does not surprise me now.
And also the thing that did surprise me, Bob, is that you ball boyed at that event.
Yeah, that was it was as I said, it was a great experience. It got late. We had quite a bit of rain that week. The only good news is we weren't a WTA event. Really didn't have to worry about a schedule too much. There was no TV on the front end or the back end of it, so we could really do what we needed to do to get it done. But at 12 o'clock midnight, when we were going on that last match, the ball kids we had they were there all day, and we had to send them home. And we didn't have much staff left at that moment in time, so I jumped in for the team, and I had a great experience watching that doubles match with Bethany Maddox-Sands and Sophia Kennan, Victoria Azarenka. I mean, it was an awesome display of tennis, and to see it at that level, not in a seat but right behind them, was great. It was fantastic. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah, which is what we heard from all the folks at World Team Tennis who were back there ball boying the entire time. It's that's become commonplace in this world and in tennis globally. Some strange things happening out on that court, but everybody getting through it. Let's get to some politics, Bob. Surprise, surprise, tennis politics. Something that you've been around the sport for a long time, and something we can't get away from for whatever reason. In this case, it's a big deal. Novak, right before the tournament, resigns from the ATP Player Council, along with Vasek Pospisil, John Isner, to start the Professional Tennis Players Association. That came as a surprise to everyone as far as the timing goes, and just how that thing played out. Novak obviously has his own problems right now based on his default from the Open. He was interviewed by Chris McKendry after one of his wins at the Open to talk about the movement and essentially the unionization of the players. And he mentioned that the women were going to be involved in this movement. Chris McKendry basically said, it's the first time I've heard of that, Novak. And then he kind of backtracked a bit. And this is complicated, but where do the women stand and where the men stand? And is there anything that is materializing based on your knowledge right now?
It's obviously been discussions at the council level, both I'm sure on the ATP side, it definitely has on the WTA side. I think what everyone needs to understand is in all of professional sports, tennis, both on the men's side and the women's side, the players have a seat at the table. The players and the tournaments own together their individual organizations. So I'll just speak to the WTA side. The players have 3 board positions that the players elect to sit on that board. And the tournaments, we have 3 board positions that we elect those positions on the board. So they have a seat at the table to be involved. And then you have that next level down. You have the board level, and then you have the council level. So the players have the chance to be involved, to be engaged, to really help script what the future looks like, because we can't do it. The tournaments can't do it alone, because that's who we are. We have to do it in concert. Now, I would say we all don't agree on everything, but at the same time, I think there is an absolute voice of, hey, we need to work together to move everything forward. And it does, it's on the players and it's on the tournaments, but it's
Right.
very unique to professional sport. And I think everyone needs to understand that in our world, ATP and WTA, the players have 3 seats at the table and even seats at the table and have an opportunity to influence all decisions being made.
Right. So we'll see how that plays out. Again, Novak has kind of hit a roadblock right now. We hope he gets out of this situation, which is really unfortunate. Back to what we were talking about, I had Bill Oakes on my show about a week ago. Obviously, he's an insider more on the ATP side. He made the comment that there were members of the ATP Players Council who, Bob, weren't even in favor of combined events. And the same story, and you've heard it before coming from various people in the industry, that the men's tour has propped up the women's tour over the years. Bill said it's ludicrous, it's downright offensive. I agree with him 100%. I'm sure you do as well. How does this still exist,
You
Bob?
know, it's a great question. And, as the money keeps getting larger and larger in professional sports, and in this case, professional tennis, it makes people do and say some things that don't make really, that doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah,
You go to combined events and the crowds are out there to see the women, the crowds are out there to see the men. When you look at a US Open or Wimbledon or French Open final, the women's final is a packed house just as much as the men's final is a packed house. And, we have equal pay at those events. And, again, another, probably the only sport that you can really compare men's prize money to women's prize money
sure.
at the Grand Slams, at your major events. And that's something tennis needs to be proud of and the players should be proud of. But
Sure.
it is a crazy world when you start hearing those things about not wanting to combine certain things. I do believe at some point tennis has to come together because, Randy, we can sit here and I can name the WTA, the ATP, the USTA, the ITF, and then you go into every national governing body within every country, and it gets very, very complicated. We need the same rules. We need the same thoughts and ideas to bring tennis together and to move tennis forward. And until we really start getting under one set of rules and regulations for the sport as a whole, we're going to continue to have these political conversations.
And as you talk politics, but moving over to the tournament side in the United States with the WTA Tour, as you know, I worked a couple of years with Ann Worcester in Connecticut, 21 years she was there. Unfortunately, they had to sell that sanction. You obviously have your event. It's Family Circle, not a Volvo. One of the premier events, not only in the United States, both men or women, but in the world. Then you go to San Jose, another event. Kentucky, I guess you can kind of call an event. I don't know if that's going to be around next year. It might move back to DC. You might know the answer, but you don't have to tell me anything right now.
Don't know that answer, but
The point is, Bob, and I did some research on this morning. Steve Simon says, and he said it in an article a while back, that tennis is such a global sport. This is not such a big deal, not a surprise. There are a lot of combined events. You have some pretty good WTA only events in the United States. From your standpoint as a domestic tournament director, do we need more WTA only events? Certainly the fans in the United States would want more.
well, you're going to put me on a soapbox right now, Randy, but I'll gladly hop on top. I think doing research, when you go back and look at it, and I've been here for 20 years, and I think if I go back 20 years, there were roughly 17 events in the U.S. We're down to 7 right now, roughly 7. And again, I'm using rough numbers, but that's kind of the dramatic slippage of events we've had in the States to where we are now. I am a huge believer that professional tennis drives recreational tennis and it drives junior tennis, and it kind of filters all the way down. Kids need something to be inspired by. And you know, I use Shelby as that great example. Ball girl at 7 years old on center court at the Family Circle Cup. She decided at that moment in time she wanted to be a professional tennis player, and look where it's gotten her. And we have a lot of young ladies here in Charleston that are striving to do that. And I think there's a big reason for that. So when you look at the state of women's tennis and the state of men's tennis, we need more professional tennis to continue to grow that pipeline of players, because everyone needs to be inspired and they need to aspire to be something more. And if you see it, you know, in real time and right in front of you, and you see these great athletes, it inspires young kids. And you know, all I have to do is look at our window here and the junior programs, what's going on here in Charleston, and the health of tennis in Charleston. It's not lost on me that professional tennis has helped lead the way with our event here. I mean,
Sure.
tennis has grown significantly in Charleston, and it's when the Family Circle Cup moved here 20 years ago.
Sure. Well, and again, we could go on and on about that. I think it's a good segue to my next question. I was asked recently if the U.S. may be in a golden age as far as women's tennis goes. I had to think about it for a second. I was like, I'm thinking back to Chrissy Martina, that era. And then I was like, you know what? Maybe it is. Venus and Serena, obviously still around. Then you go into Sonia Kennan, Jen Brady, Shelby, Sloane, Madison, Amanda Anisimova, Coco, Katie, Katrina Scott. I'm sure I left out 10 players, Bob.
We have 19 out of the top 100.
Yeah, so I did leave out some folks. But as you said, these are players, and every single one of them, down to Katrina Scott, the youngest, and Coco, inspire kids. And if if they aren't showcased at events, and they obviously are at combined events as well, but they need to be showcased throughout this country. There's such pleasant young. I had the pleasure of speaking with Katrina Scott recently live. What a pleasant and amazing young woman she is, and what a future she has.
Yeah,
Would you say it's a golden age?
I think we're really close, because it's not just so much the 19 of the top 100 we're excited about. It's that next 19 that we're equally as excited about, who are in the
Right.
hundreds to 200s, who are these young ladies who are really trying to gather points and gain notoriety and get that opportunity. You know, I go back, Randy, you know, I'd say 10, 12 years ago, and people were asking the question, you know, where is that next generation that's being inspired by Serena and Venus? I said, y'all realize it takes time. When a young girl at 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 sees Venus and Serena for the first time and says, I want to grow up to be a tennis player, it's going to take some time before they can grow up and become a tennis player. And we're seeing that generation of young women who were inspired and are now playing and making a difference. And it's fun to watch. I think we are darn close to a golden age in American women's tennis. And it's fun for us because, you know, obviously we're a women's tennis event, but I think the future for women's tennis is very, very bright for
Yeah,
the long term.
absolutely. And I mentioned, or I'm sorry, I didn't mention Jess Pegula.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking about Jess, and as I look on social media, and this wasn't the case 20 years ago, John McEnroe and Jimmy Connors weren't tweeting each other, you know, good luck tonight and great match, Jimmy.
Yeah.
and I saw Jess and all the American players really supporting each other during the U.S. Open, and I think that's great, because when they get out on the court, they're going at it. I mean, last night Naomi and Shelby didn't seem like it was that pleasant of a tap and Shelby was obviously upset, and Naomi's not American, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They really support each other, and I think that's great, and it's important for that era to happen.
I had a great, you know, I had a group because I was excited because we had a great day. American tennis suffered in the first part of the day, but the end of the day was Shelby, Ali Risk, Jessie Pegula, and Jen Brady all won in the afternoon. And I sent a group text to all of them at the same time, and that American flag and the bicep, all those are the message I was getting back from the group of them. Because they were all here. Jessie wasn't in our field for Credit One Bank, but she was a backup for us. So she was here training all week with the girls and part of our team here for the Credit One Bank Invitational as well. So they are all very supportive of each other. But when they go out against each other, they want to win. There's no question.
Sure. And I wanted to end, Bob, on your favorite subject, the Volvo Car Open for 2021. You know, everybody's not looking too far ahead. We hope we are out of this mess by then, but we're all planning for the future and looking forward to all sports being back in their normal form and capacity next year. You're getting ready for the 2021 Volvo Car Open. What do we have in store next year? Are we going to see some things that weren't on the docket for 2020 and will be for 2021 as far as everything on the grounds and activities for fans and engagement?
Well, I can say I'm working on budgets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 right now. All trying to take into account what we're going to look like and what we're going to be like. What I do know is we're going to have tennis. What I don't know is what that tennis is going to be like, but we're going to prepare for having our normal Volvo Car Open, having a socially distanced one, having one that is maybe fans only. We don't want to be there, but we have to prepare for all of it. We're going to prepare like this is a normal Volvo Car Open 2021. We're going to push everything through, but it is weird because at this moment in time, Randy, I know my field for next year pretty much because I spent 2 weeks at the Open recruiting and talking with agents and players and making sure we're working on what 2021 looks like, and we just haven't had a chance to do that or the opportunity to do that. And I don't think the players are ready for that yet either. I don't think the players are ready to look at what 2021 is going to be like. I can tell you from a tour level and a council level, we're looking at all options and opportunities for what 2021 is. But I still don't think it's going to be normal, but I hope we're as close to normal as we can get.
Sure. And lastly, I just wanted to say it's strange not seeing you and other friends in the industry at the Open this year. It's always it's my favorite time of the year just to catch up with everyone. It's such a positive time of the year in our sport, especially with everyone kind of coming together, and we have such a good time. I miss having some beers with you and
absolutely
and everybody else. You know, maybe a honeydew, but yeah, I miss it. I miss seeing you, Bob. And you know, hopefully we'll see each other soon. And lastly, I wanted to thank you for supporting TennisONE and Bleacher, and you know, we hope to continue that partnership. But you've been on board from the start, and we really appreciate it.
No, absolutely, and we really appreciate what you've done in these tough times. You guys have really raised your game and created some different avenues for people to still enjoy tennis. So thank you and the team at Bleacher and TennisONE for doing a great job. And thanks for including me today. I'm always happy to talk to you, Randy.
All right, thanks a lot, Bob.
You got it. Take care.